All right, I want to take a couple of minutes and look at the Korg WaveDrum, which is what I use as my snare drum here on the big kit for recording. And basically, I was looking for a snare drum that would be really consistent, that I could get just a clean, snappy, quick, electronic kind of sound out of. But I did not want like a sampler or anything with like a mesh head, rubber pad, any MIDI controller. It's just not going to pick up the ghost notes the same way. I know there's some really nice ones out there, but to me it never really worked. I wanted something that behaved like an acoustic drum but would turn it into an electronic sound, and that's pretty much exactly what the WaveDrum does. There's some great videos here on YouTube about the Korg WaveDrum, the different models and editions and the history and the sounds and stuff. So if you're curious about the WaveDrum, go check out some of those videos. I'm not going to do that video right now, but I will show you a couple of things with the WaveDrum real quick, just so you understand what it's all about if you're not familiar with the instrument. So it's got 3 sensors in it. There's a head sensor, there is a rim sensor, and then there's a pressure sensor. So those can be sent to different, what Korg calls algorithms, or the PCMs that they have in there, the modelers of different instruments. So there might be one instrument put on the rim and another instrument put on the head, and then you could have some sort of modulation or pitch control controlled by the pressure sensor. The pressure sensor might also kick one sound in over another. The sounds are editable. You can go in and do EQ and reverb and delay, and I think you can even do some pitch control with some semitones. You can move up and down a little bit, but it's only got like 2 or 3 characters in the display, which makes it kind of hard to do some of that stuff. But if you really want to get into the WaveDrum and spend time with it, it's an amazing instrument. So I got the first one, the red one, which was the Oriental, and I was having an issue with just one of the knobs, and I had become so invested in the drum, I decided I probably should get a second one that I could leave here at the house, and the red one goes with me. And so I got the, I believe this is called the WDX. Anyway, I got that one as a backup. The silver one here is a backup. And it has just become kind of the one that I use for recording. It doesn't have as many sounds on it as the Oriental does, but for just, you know, a snare drum or something kind of cool, there's 100 different sounds in here that I can pull up and play around with. And then if I want to do something else, I can use the other one. So I'm going to show you a pressure sensitive one real quick, just so you get a sense of how this thing works. It's switching banks right now. There are 3 banks, A, B, and C. Each of those has 4 saves on it. So I've got this one saved in bank B2. Is that right? No, I want this one. All right, and then I'll show you this one as well. All right, so a little sense there of the pressure. I'm going to go back to just a snare drum here. So there are 2 snare drums in here that I like to use a lot. I've got them just saved in bank A, sounds 1 and 2. That just sounds so clean to me. And then this one has more of a gated kind of bark to it if you hit it hard. So I'm going to go back to number 1 for a second. Okay, so that's just what it sounds like out of the box. Then what I like to do is I add in this TC Electronic NovaDelay pedal that I have over here. Right now the pedal is not engaged. Actually 5 knobs, I'm sorry. The first is the delay, second feedback, then we have color, mod level, and the mix level. I'm going to run through these real quick. The delay, that just sets your delay time. So right now I've got this set at 500 milliseconds, and I know that that is 120 BPM at quarter notes. And then the feedback right now, a little bit under half. The color ranges between what they call analog and digital, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. Mod level, there's some modulations that you can do. I don't really use that. I've just got it set where I want it. For a guitar player, it probably would have some more use. And then the mix level, that's how much, wet, dry you're getting. And that basically controls, if it's toward the dry, you're going to get more of your attack, your initial transient. And if you are rolled to the right, more towards the wet, then you're going to get a lot more of the delayed sound or the affected sound. And your initial transient can actually be cut entirely. So if you're like doing something that's tapping multiple times, the first stroke might get cut out and then you're just going to get the taps. So I'm going to crank this feedback up so you can hear this thing ring out. And I'm going to change the type down here. Right now I've got it on a pan mode, and I've got it on variation 6. I'm going to just put it on delay line. Delay line is just a straight pattern, and this is just going to be, I think, a quarter note pattern. Okay, that's good. So you can hear this is kind of pitch shifting as it goes down, and that's the function of the color knob. If I bring this up to fully digital, it's going to sample the sound that comes in and repeat that exact sound. Let me show you. As I shift it towards analog, now it's going to color the sound darker as it decays. Same sound. This is the other snare sound. All right, I'm going to put this back on the first sound, and I'm going to show you just a couple of these that I like. I really like the second one, the dynamic delay. What it does, if you're playing, it shortens the delay time, and then when you're not playing, the taps go on for a little longer. And now I'm going to change the subdivisions. So this will do 3 different sets of subdivisions, like quarter notes or eighth note triplets or whatever. Those are the first 3 sounds. And then the second 3 are a combination of the first 3, where we'll put one on the left and the other on the right. So you can get these kind of very odd, almost odd time syncopations where the notes are moving around sort of in weird patterns. Some of it's not really that useful if it's super strong in the mix, but if you dry it up, which I'll show you here in a sec, then it can make the sound of the snare drum just really nice and full and not really bouncing around a lot. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to put the color 100% towards digital. I'm going to bring the mix level way down, and I'm going to bring the feedback level way down as well. And I'm going to change the sound. I'm going to put it down to this pan sound. The pan kind of sweeps from left to right, I think 5 taps to go all the way across. And I'm going to dry this up. Okay, so I'm getting that immediate tent, and I don't want that second one. So I'm actually going to take my time here on the BPM, and I'm going to set this in half, right? So I'm going to go down to 250. There we go, that's what I want. All right, so that's the kind of effect that I'm really trying to get, where the decay of that drum, it repeats real quick and then it's out. That just makes the drum kind of feel really big, and that that tap and decay is going to be in tempo with the song at 120 beats a minute. Right, if I crank up the feedback, you'll hear it will become almost its own metronome. That's nice. Now if I want to again darken it up so that decay is shifts in pitch. That's really nice. You're not even going to hear that decay really in a mix, but it'll stay in tempo and really just kind of push. All right, I'm going to show you one more sound real quick. This is one that I like a lot. This is an example of a rim and head that are different. So if I bring up this feedback again, and the mix level,